Back in April of 2012, I randomly stumbled upon a video titled "The Days Ahead, Welcome to New Chernarus" by a YouTuber called Chakilroy. The mod they were playing was the first version of DayZ for Arma 2. The video showed a bunch of guys having fun, shooting zombies and looting guns. After it had finished, I immediately started researching the mod, seeing what I needed to run it correctly. I checked my Steam library and lo and behold, I had already purchased Arma 2 and it was on my account. And I came to the sudden realization I am horrible with money. I started downloading the game and the mod, and my friends started messaging me, "Hey Jake, have you seen this video?" And they were linking me the video I'd just watched. All of us started downloading it, and when we got to the menu and started trying to join a DayZ server, which back when the mod first came out was a difficult task, the servers were jam-packed, so much so you had to spam the join button to get a spot, and there were so many people doing this, the servers got hammered and caused a bunch of lag in-game. But eventually we all got in, and we were terrified. What do we do? What is this? How do I access my inventory and where do I go? Was that gunfire in the distance? Everything was brand new, and it was a genre that we had no experience in. But, well, no one really had experience in this genre because it was pretty much brand new. We used to spend hours and hours late into the night looting, building bases, fixing up helicopters, making friends and organising clans and building a community. This lasted for months and months. It became a ritual. I'd wake up and play DayZ, and that was the case for all of us. We didn't have to ask, "Hey, are you coming on DayZ today?" because it was a given. The game was clunky and full of bugs, but we didn't care. It had sunk its claws into me and my friends, and I was loving it. After the release of different versions of DayZ coupled with numerous patches, DayZ Standalone was announced, and we were excited. The Standalone promised a detailed health system, new areas, weapons and items, functional zombies, intuitive base building, and overall just a better experience. There were other open world survival games releasing at the time, trying to piggyback off the success of DayZ mod, but the standalone version was to be the king of survival games. Then it released, and it was, well, bad. Really bad. Whole sections of the game were just not functional, that and the lag was unbearable. But it sold insanely well. The DayZ mod ignited this almost cult following. Online content creation had DayZ at the centre of attention for the longest time. There's no way the standalone game could fail. It had everything going for it. But it did. Promises that were never met. That with the development process taking such an exponential amount of time. Yes, they made changes and new additions, but it was too late. People started getting frustrated. Never mind when this game is going to be finished. When's it going to get fixed? In December 2017, DayZ Standalone will have been in early access for 4 years, and I and many others have given up on DayZ. This genre-defining game that had so much potential was left in the dust. There were other games that cropped up whilst DayZ was failing in an attempt to bring those players that had moved on into their game. Rust, War Z, Miscreated and H1Z1, but they just didn't really do anything for me. They didn't rekindle that feeling of being placed into this world and being terrified. Always on edge, looking for ways to survive. The survival genre was plagued with lazy copycats trying to cash in on the success of DayZ mod. Rust was pretty enjoyable though. I was looking for something to scratch that DayZ itch, for something to recreate that feeling I got when I first played it all those years ago. And well, I think I found it. Escape from Tarkov is a game created by the Russian game developer Battlestate. It's set in the region of Novinsk. When it fell into disarray, it became home to two warring factions, the Bears and the USEC. When jumping into the game, you can actually pick which faction you want to join. I had Escape from Tarkov on my radar for a while, ever since the original trailer came out, but I was very wary I've played Savarium a few years back and it left a bad taste in my mouth for Russian-created first-person shooters, but recently I stumbled upon a random video of EFT on YouTube, much like DayZ, and I said to myself, you know what, this doesn't look half bad. They recently had a Black Friday sale, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get it. Not only did I buy it once, I bought it for 3 of my friends as well. The game was only a 4GB download, which instantly started raising alarms. 4GB? Wow, that's a small download. Why is it so small? Then I looked it up. Not only is this game's file size heavily optimized, but the game runs on the Unity engine. This, right here, is on the Unity engine. Well, consider me impressed. Unity really is a powerful game engine that doesn't get utilized to its fullest potential the majority of the time, so it's nice to see it being used correctly here. As we finished the download, we jumped into the game, without knowing anything. Nothing about the inventory, how the game works, what our objective was. We picked the map Woods, and we picked a nighttime map by accident. I'll explain what all this means soon, but me and my buddy loaded in and I was instantly hit with how phenomenal the sound design is in this game. It was dark, we were scared and we didn't know where we were going. We edged along a random path, not being able to see 2 feet in front of us. As we carried on down the path, my friend noticed a bus stop across the road. "I'm gonna go check it out," he said. Armed with my AK assault rifle, I aimed in front of me, covering him. Not like I could see anything though. A couple of seconds passed, loud cracks then echoed around us. We both jumped and screamed. "I'm dead," my friend said. I quickly double-backed and ran into a nearby bush. They were still firing at the bus stop. I don't think they realized they'd already killed him. I started shooting in the general direction of the muzzle flashes, with no idea what I was shooting at. The flashes stopped. I thought to myself, did I get them? Then bang, my character fell to the ground. It was so awesome. So what even is this game? What do you do? Well, the objective of Escape from Tarkov is to spawn into a map. Currently there's 4 maps. You survive, loot, and then escape at the end. Each map has a set number of players that can join at a single time, which are called PMCs, which you can team up with or kill and take their stuff. Normally it's the latter. Not only that, but the map is littered with AI-controlled bots called scavs. These will shoot you on sight, but are quite formidable and not to be taken lightly. On the other end of the spectrum, you can join the map as one of these scavs and take over the AI. Here, the AI scavs will not shoot you on sight, but you have to be careful of other player scavs and the PMCs. You have an hour to complete each raid, and if you die, you lose all of the goodies you've found. Before you decide to enter the raid, you can choose what you're going to be taking in with you from your global stash. Do you take in your fully modded M4 and risk losing it? Or do you go in with a pistol and hope you catch a geared player off guard? The risk versus reward factor is something that gets my heart pounding every single firefight and was my main draw to DayZ back in the day. Every engagement could be your last because you have such little health, and the game has a really good limb and medical system. One stray bullet could be the end. And don't mistake this for a battle royale game. You can leave whenever you want to, providing you know where to go. Even if you're the last person on the server, you don't know that. You're always on your toes and looking over your shoulder. Coupled with the fact firefights are amazing in this game. With the high fidelity visuals, the incredible sound design and fantastic gunplay, you feel the tension as you enter the fights and your playstyle determines the outcome. Do you rush in and try and surprise your enemies, or do you use the sound to your advantage, sticking to the shadows and learning about their location from their own movement? A big portion of my time with this game is actually sat in the menu, but for good reason. The weapon modding system in this game may be the most impressive modding system I've ever seen in any video game. You can choose from an array of stocks, scopes, grips, rails, barrels, chambers. You can create some amazing looking weapons or, well, monstrosities that make the weapon you decide to bring into the raid your own. I've been scouring videos and live streams of Escape from Tarkov for a couple of days now, and in some cases the community knows whose dead body they've found because of the type of rifle and the configuration of that rifle, which is just so incredibly cool. Escape from Tarkov is what I've been looking for ever since DayZ disappointed me. It's reminded me why I love the survival genre so much. The heart-pounding firefights, the world, the loot, finding rare items in these games is always so exciting. But not only that, it's getting out alive after you've found it. It just builds so much tension as you stumble your way to the exit. And this game actually alleviates one of the biggest criticisms that many have against survival games, and that's them being running simulators. And even though you do plenty of running in Escape from Tarkov, it gets broken up with either player or AI encounters along the way, and it seems to find a really good balance for that. This might change, however, when the full game gets released. As Escape from Tarkov moves further into development, the promise of a fully open world is being discussed, with them melding all of these instance maps into one and having this giant open world. That, along with the promise of more firearms, improvements to the health system with the addition of illness and stuff like that, this game is shaping up to be really something. With intricate details such as if you double tap the reload, you reload your weapon quicker, but you drop your mag in the process, or how your character's run speed and height is determined by the scroll wheel, putting ammo into magazines and figuring out which part of a mod goes where. Now don't get me wrong, this game isn't without faults. Currently it's in closed beta with an open beta scheduled at the end of the year. Despite recent fixes, the desync and lag can be a very prevalent issue at times. Issues like sometimes you'll get stuck in animations and you won't be able to do anything, run, walk, fire your gun, etc. And some stuff I'd like to see personally is search functionality in the trading and stash menu. That and the ability to see if a mod is compatible with your weapon. Currently there is a drop down menu, but I'm not too sure it's working at the moment. This would be nice, and I'm speaking from experience. The whole modding thing, although it's really impressive, is also super overwhelming, and I've spent a lot of money buying items to then realize it was the wrong one. Obviously this gets somewhat easier the more you play and the more you become more familiar with the parts, etc. But when entering into the game for the first time, it was a real big challenge understanding it. Not like that's a bad thing, however. Learning is part of the fun, I just feel it needs to be a little more streamlined. But the core of the game is great, and that's what is important, and I think is the main difference between how I feel about DayZ compared to how I feel about Escape from Tarkov. Admittedly, I've only recently picked up this game, so perhaps earlier last year, it could have been a different story. But my initial experience with Escape from Tarkov has been a much more enjoyable, although frustrating at times, experience than it was to my initial playthrough of DayZ Standalone. If you have that DayZ itch that I had and aren't too bothered about the zombies because, well, Escape from Tarkov doesn't have any, I'd really recommend you try out this game. As I mentioned earlier, there's going to be an open beta soon, so keep a lookout for that. I'm thankful for this game and it reminding me why I love this genre so much. Each individual has their own stories about what took place out in the world that makes the game unique for them. For example, me and my friend were pinned down in a dorm room with bullets raining down the hallway. The only thing between us and them were a stack of trash bags and a sofa. It was brilliant. We returned fire only to be met by a grenade. After we both died, there was a long pause. "That was so cool," I said to him. Then we shared with each other what we were doing during all of the panic. We laughed, we paid our respects to our lost loot, and then we queued up for another. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Buyer Beware. Many of you know I'm currently in the process of branching out and covering other games other than the Souls games, but don't worry, Souls isn't going anywhere. You can read the full post on the community section of my YouTube channel for more information. For my existing audience members, thank you for taking the time and giving me a chance to talk about something in a completely different realm than Dark Souls. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun writing this, and if you did enjoy this episode, make sure to give it a like. I don't normally ask for likes, but I'll be able to see if you actually enjoyed this kind of content. So yeah, thank you for that. Also, I did have the idea of maybe recording some of my raids in Escape from Tarkov, so if you'd like to see that, head on over to my Twitch page, give it a follow, and maybe I'll start streaming some Escape from Tarkov, who knows. So that's going to be me done for today, folks. Take care, be good to one another, and I'll see you next time.
Close all the curtains.